So in today's video, we're going to find out if this vampire deck sucks or not. Okay, get it? Vampires suck. So in this video, we will be going over the commander, the sub-commander, and the deck itself to answer the big question of, is this worth it? Let's start off with the commander itself. With the commander being Kaleniov, First of the Blessed. Kaleniov, First of the Blessed. For 1 white and a black, you get a legendary creature, Vampire Cleric, that is a mythic. Whenever you attack an attacking vampire that isn't a demon becomes a demon in addition to its other types. It gains when this creature dies, draw a card, then create a tapped 4/3 white and black vampire demon creature token with flying, and he's a 2/2. Spending 3 mana for a 2/2 with no keywords is okay. It's not the best, it's not bad. It is okay. But his ability is absolutely hilarious. You build a vampire deck, you accidentally build a vampire demon deck. You have an army of vampires, you attack with your army of vampires, they die and explode and let you draw a card, and then you're able to get 4/3 flying demon vampires. This, I'm not sure works the way I want it to, so please let me know in the comments down below. But there is an enchantment, a black enchantment, and an artifact that turns your creature types into a certain creature. So if you pick vampire, can you attack with the vampires? They explode to become vampire demons. That card rewrites them to just being vampires, and then you can attack with the 4/3 flying vampires to then remake vampire demons that then get recoded to vampires. Does that make sense? Let me know if that's how that works in the comments down below. But this commander is absolutely hilarious and a very fun and unique way to play, which I like when they make these type of commander decks. But let's get right into the sub-commander, and the sub-commander is Carmen Cruel Skymatcher. Carmen Cruel Skymatcher, for 3 white and a black, you get a legendary creature, Vampire Soldier, that is a mythic. She has flying. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, put a 1/1 counter on Carmen Cruel Skymatcher and you gain 1 life. Whenever Carmen attacks, return up to 1 target permanent card with mana value less than or equal to Carmen's power from your graveyard to the battlefield, and she's a 2/2. So 5 mana for a 2/2 with flying is not the best. However, she doesn't have 1 but 2 really cool abilities. 1, you can literally turn this into a Voltron deck by making people sack as many things as possible, giving her enough counters that you're able to pretty much Rogue's Passage and Witch's Cottage, doing 20 plus command damage, gaining 20 plus health, and then looking at your other 2 opponents going, who's next? Then there's also the other way where you're able to literally play really anything in your deck that's really good, and if someone destroys it, you literally power up enough, attack normally, if someone blocks, and you're able to get the best cards out. Now again, love this commander for the unique playability of her and how well she is, but again, I'm not sure if this is how it works. Do you know the land that lets you get the 20/20 indestructible? You play that, play the vampire, that makes you sack all the counters so you get it, then on that turn attack, you get the land back, and then on your next turn, if someone does kill this 20/20 indestructible somehow, you then attack again, getting the card that gets rid of the counters, pretty much being able to replay it every second turn they destroy it. I think that's a good ability, but if there's any other ways you think her ability works well with other cards, please let me know in the comments down below. So now let's start on the main parts of the deck, starting off with the creatures. In this deck there is a total of 35 creatures, all of them pretty much being vampires or vampire-esque cards. Cards such like Charismatic Conqueror, Redemption Choir, Dusk Legion Sergeants, Master of the Dark Rite, Order of Scared Dust, Marvin Foy Dusk Apostle, Blood Tracker, Butcher of Malachor, Champion of Dusk, Corridor Vampire, Crossway Troublemaker, Drana Liberate of Markio, Night Stalking Scavenger, Patron of Vane, Sanctum Seeker, Timothar Baron of Bats, Twilight Prophet, Endela the Dusk Rose, Vona Butcher of Manga. So a lot of these vampires I'm happy with and I'm kind of shocked. They're really good and actually amazing cards. But there was 2 I was really not happy with, because right after they released these decks, there is 2 vampires here that were also released in a secret layer. This seems to be, for me personally, a big kind of FU for people that bought the vampire decks, that don't really have enough money, that decided, you know, there's a secret layer coming out, but I really want this vampire deck, I'm gonna risk it, get the vampire deck and not get the pretty old arts that they really want, especially if they're really big into vampires. To be honest, there are so many vampires in so many sets, they could have easily taken these two out and put something as good or better in. So I'm really not liking the fact that it's these two cards get knocked out right after. Now we are going on to the enchantments. I am the big enchantment lover when it comes to this. In this deck there is a total of 6 enchantments, and they are March of the Conquerside, Promise of Alcozots, Kindred Boon, Radiant Destiny, Exquisite Blood, Etchings of the Chosen. Overall, these are quite good enchantments, especially with Exquisite Blood. They're not amazing, they're not breathtaking, they're quite good. Now we are going on to the sorceries of the deck. In this deck there is a total of 4 sorceries, which makes sense since this is a very creature heavy deck. These sorceries are probably going to be board wipes and stuff like that, so let's go over them. You get Austri's Command, Damn, New Blood, and Pack of the Serpent. Overall, in my opinion, these are kind of meh. They're not really worth it. They kind of just kill spells and stuff like that with some form of vampire-esque art or something in them. I don't really like these, but I knew the instants and sorceries are going to be the weakest point. That's not counting the lands, because obviously with these decks, the lands are not going to be great. You cannot have sorceries without instances. In this deck, there is a total of 4 instances, and they are Utter End, Return to Dust, Swords of Plowshare, and Village Rites. I have said this a million times when it comes to Swords of Plowshare, and the other one, I'm not even thinking of it right now, I'm sick of seeing these in decks. They're in every single commander deck, you can get them in every single art you want, in every single way. I am not the biggest fan of these. The instances are pretty much just kill spells or a kind of meh draw card, but I'm really sick of swords and I can't really stop thinking of anything but swords, so let's go on to the next section. And now we're going on to the artifacts of this deck. In this deck there's a total of 11 artifacts, but some of them are mana rocks, so we're only going to be going over a handful, and those artifacts are Glass Case Heart, Blade of the Blood Chief, Hellaboom Blade, and Swiftfoot Boots. Seeing these I was kind of shocked, to be honest. I thought they would kind of be the horn and the herald thingy, the things that creature types get +1/+1 and stuff like that for each other creature type. The horn and banner, they're the cards. I'm shocked I didn't see these in this, but they were in the previous one with the pirates, so that also does make sense. Overall, I think the artifacts are kind of good. There's a lot more mana rocks than I thought there would be out of the 11, but again, still really good choices. And then I love when they do this, when they add a Planeswalker. But that's personally because I am a Planeswalker collector. I have a Planeswalker folder trying to get every single Planeswalker. So when I do see a Planeswalker in a deck, unless it's one of those, there's like a few handfuls that they put in a lot of decks. When they put something new in or haven't put in a while, I always get excited. And it is that little bit that makes me want to buy the deck a little bit more. So in this deck, the Planeswalker you get is Sorin, Lord of Innistrad. Again, this is the Planeswalker I have not seen in a while, and to be honest, it works really well in this deck. And then finally, lands. When it comes to lands, there is a total of 37, and there's a handful that I think are quite good, and those lands are Isolated Chapter, Shine Shadow Snarl, Temple of Silence, and Vault of the Archangel. When it comes to these, I do really find that the weakest and lowest point is always the lands. They have upped the price and upped the cards in the deck, which I'm happy with, but they didn't really up the lands. To be honest, I would kind of prefer personally a less better version of the cards and better lands to kind of ease it off. Like, again, not putting Exquisite Blood in, because the last time I checked it was like 20-30 quid, but putting in better lands I would personally prefer and would make me want to buy it more. But my final thoughts of this deck, to be honest, way better than I thought. The last few vampire sets and stuff have had a really handful of good cards, but then the rest being kind of meh. This overall seems a quite good deck that could actually probably be played straight out the box, or if you want a more powerful deck with not many changes. This is one of the commander decks that if you have the money to budget and you really want to make a vampire deck, I do say it's worth it, especially with the amount of vampire commanders that also would work well in this deck. I do think so far this is the trend they're going on and it's going the right way. The only thing I would love them to change is the lands. But if you think I'm right or wrong, or if you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. While you're there, remember to like, subscribe and follow me on all my other social media. But as always, I have the previous Ixalan commander deck here. I have a playlist of Is It Worth It here and a subscribe button here. And remember, thank you for all your help so far, and I will see you all in the next video.